Hello, this is old Mr. Kent of MrKent.com, and this past weekend we celebrated my son's wife's 40th birthday, and so that was a pretty special birthday, and he made the best of it. He planned this out and worked for weeks getting everything ready. Everything. He went all out to get this celebration to be special, and it turned out it was. That guy right there on the one-wheel gadget, his name is Ed, and he's the son of one of my very best friends that is now passed away. But his dad and I we flew together. He had a plane, I had a plane, and we had a lot of fun together. And so Ed, his son, came to help celebrate the birthday, and his wife and his daughter ride those scooters, and so when he showed up with the scooters, it turns out that his daughter is the same age as my grandson, and so the two of them had a lot of fun riding scooters together. And then of course I went for some rides with them on my electric bike also. And then also we had to break out the RC car and let everybody drive it around, which from the aerial view here is kind of fun to watch. I never was into RC cars, and I was a little bit into RC planes, but my son Bruce, he's an RC car enthusiast, expert. He builds them, and he hasn't done much recently because he's been so busy. But that's one of his cars, and of course it works great. And everybody that knows how to drive them has a lot of fun with them. So these are what happened. The folks that showed up early were my friend Ed, and then my son Stephen from up in Washington State. So we had a lot of fun, and then this is when everybody else started showing up, and you can see the campers over on the left and the people and the 40th birthday decorations and all. This is actually the day of her birthday, and my son works for a company called Turtleback Trailers, and they make these camping trailers that you can go up into the wilderness and camp out and stay for several days because they're completely self-contained. And so he invited a lot of folks that work with him, and they showed up, and then also some people that had purchased trailers, and he got acquainted with them. Well, then they showed up. So there was a lot of trailers in my son's backyard. And there's Ed again. That's his setup right there. And so he's a waving type of guy. And then there's the balloons that were black in honor of my daughter-in-law's 40th birthday. And by the way, I wrote a song in honor of Ed's father. And I'll put a link to that. I've got it on YouTube, and I also wrote a song called 40 Years Old, and I've got that on YouTube, so I'll put a link to that in the descriptions. And there, that rig right there, he just got there, and so he hasn't disconnected anything yet. But his name is Tim, and he's just a good friend of this group, and so he just arrived, and he's going to eventually disconnect his Jeep and set up his tent there. And then to the right of that, I missed while it was over there, that's the tent that belongs to my son's boss, or one of his bosses, and his name is Ken, and he's a real enthusiast for this kind of stuff. And there's the 40-year-old balloon. Now this Jeep on the left over here, that belongs to my son, and he set it up for people to, guests to sleep in. and because they had a party that it didn't last all night, but it lasted into the night, and so a lot of people just stayed all night, and then had a good time also on Sunday. And these poor folks here, they parked in the wrong place. They parked right next to the chicken coop, and there's a rooster that doesn't know when to when to shut up. Anyway, he crows all night long, and after a while you get used to it. But we wished later that we would have had those folks park further away from the rooster. So anyway, this was the first day everybody was getting acquainted, and of course there was a lot of people inside getting acquainted, and it was just a fun time for everybody. And you can see over on the left there that Tim, he got his tent all set up, pulled his Jeep out, and there's his tent, the orange one. And then my son's boss, whose name is Ken, he puts up a lot of videos of camping, but that's his camping set there. And these trailers are self-contained and the latest technology. So if you're interested in Turtleback trailers, just Google Turtleback trailers, and maybe you want to get yourself one. I know that people that get them love them, and of course my son loves them too. So anyway, Saturday was a fun day. The kids had fun, and there was a little 2-year-old who rode around on what they call a glider, and he had a lot of, and he is a sharp little guy. 2 years old, and he knows the alphabet, and he knows how to count to 20. Now I didn't get to hear him. By the way, that trailer right there is another one that belongs to my son, and he set it up for guests to sleep in, and so that was the birthday day. And this is the next morning. I got up early so I could catch the sunrise, and you'll notice down around the fire pit is my grandson. He got up early because he's always wanting to, well, he's a very sociable guy, so he hangs out with everybody he can. But it was pretty quiet. My drone was the only sound other than the rooster crowing, and so there wasn't a whole lot of action. And I just flew my drone around. Now, coming into the picture over on the right is a 1950 vintage Packard, and the guy who owns that, his name is Daniel, and he managed to fasten his tent to the top of it, and he's in the process of restoring it. He's got the front bumper, but it's not attached right now, and it's fun. He's got the you'll notice the exhaust pipe sticking straight up in the front. Anyway, when he drove in last night, he drove in after dark, so I didn't get his rig in the pictures for the birthday. But he drove in late. It was dark when he got there, and so I didn't get to meet him and visit with him until Sunday. So, like I said, everybody's sleeping except my grandson, who's sitting over there waiting for people to wake up. And he's still waiting and waiting and waiting. But the sun's coming up now, and it's getting brighter. And so the day is about to start. And, of course, everybody has a good time in the morning, and visited until just before noon, when it was time for folks to pack up and go home and rest up from the fun. Saturday night they sat around the bonfire and they celebrated the birthday sitting around the bonfire, and then they also went in the house, and my son has a karaoke outfit, and so they sang karaoke. And some of them stayed out and sat around the bonfire. Some people went in, and some people went back and forth. But this old guy went to bed. I think I was in bed by about 9:30. And the party continued on after that. It wasn't loud and noisy, but they just didn't want to quit. And there goes Ed. He's riding my e-bike, and you can see he's not pedaling. He's just using the throttle, which is okay. But that's my e-bike. And everybody that wanted to rode my e-bike, and so I had quite a few people helping me burn down the batteries. And then this is Bruce's boss, and he's backing up to hook to his trailer and about ready to pull out and go home. And he's almost connected. It was a fun weekend, and we at this point in time when everybody's leaving, it seems like everybody's tired and glad to get ready to go home, but everybody was kind of sad to see it all come to an end, because my daughter-in-law, she had a wonderful time, and the sad part is she was sick the week before. So as we back up here, people are saying goodbye and visiting, and the backyard has the old balloons laying on the ground, and there's no more campers camped out, no more little kids playing around. I almost flew into a tree, and I think we all had a wonderful time. And here we're watching the last person to pull out, and he's an Air Force jet pilot, and his name is Dan, and he has a sweet little boy and a wife, and they're pulling out. So anyway, that was my daughter-in-law's 40th birthday. I want to thank you for watching the video, and God bless.